So in this class, we are going to study about the SEBI substantial acquisition of shares and takeover. In the other word, we also call that as takeover codes. So the takeover codes are being changed from year to year. So for our syllabus, we are going to study the takeover code as per 2011. We will study about the background. The SEBI takeover code aims to regulate acquisition of shares of a listed company, acquiring control over a listed company. Now, these are those code which SEBI has laid down and regulated for acquisition of shares, particularly of listed company. And the listed company will acquire control over other listed companies. So for such kind of codes, the SEBI takeover codes has been given a very important job or a task. Now, it came from effective October 22, 2011. From that part, it has become effective. Earlier, takeover code revamped post recommendation of advisory committee. Now there were earlier takeover codes which has been amended, revamped, the post recommendation of the advisory committee. Some changes have been made in the earlier takeover code of the SEBI. Consistently involving code in the line with the international practices, right? If you see the constantly, they are involving the code in the line with the international practices. Whatever changes are happening, constantly same changes we are doing in our takeover codes. If the changes are happening in internationally, if you don't change those particular codes in India, then we will be lacking behind. So we change these codes, particularly with the changing international practices. Particularly when the international code changes, we are changing our the codes constantly the same phase or constantly following the international practices. Now, applicability of the code, it applies in the case of substantial acquisition of shares or voting rights or control. Now, the shares of substantial acquisition, it applies to all kind of shares, whether they are equity shares, preference shares, to all the shares for having a substantial acquisition, these are applicable. For voting rights, to decide the voting rights, also substantial acquisition is very important, right? Who are going to vote, and based on the majority of number of votes, will be deciding about the board of directors, and after board of directors, management is going to be decided. So this about voting rights will also play a very important role, and this is also a case of substantial acquisition. Control, in case of merger and acquisition, who is going to control which particular company? Because in merger, control is different, in acquisition, control is different, in takeover, control is different. Then by acquiring by itself or together with a person acting in concrete, right? Here, by acquiring by itself or together with a person acting as a concrete, they can do it by themselves or together with the person who is acting as a concrete. Then applies to a direct and indirect acquisition. This is applicable, these takeover codes are applicable to all kind of takeovers, whether direct acquisition or indirect acquisition. So all kind of acquisition, this is applicable, this code are applicable. Now, if you see about important definition here, who is the acquirer? Any person acquiring directly or indirectly, he is the acquirer, right? Any person who is acquiring the company of other, whether he is acquiring it directly or whether he is acquiring indirectly, he is a acquiring. Then similarly, shares of voting rights, control, etc. He will have shares, he will have voting rights, he will have control. The acquirer will have these all things. Then in the target company, the acquirer is going to have the shares, voting rights or control in the target company by himself or persons acting in concrete. He can have this rights, control, voting right in the target company by himself or by any person acting as concrete, or we can call as middleman or an agent, etc. Then control. right to appoint majority of the directors or control the policy decisions by the company, right? We are going to do the policy decisions by making with the majority of the people of the directors by means of their shares holdings or management rights of shareholders agreement or any other manners. So these are also the related to control. Then persons acting in concrete, right? Some person is acting as a concrete person who for a common objective, who is having an acquisition, takeover, or a merger for a common objective, directly or indirectly cooperate to acquire shares or voting rights or control over the target company. He is also having acquiring the shares, voting rights, or control in the target company by means of agreement or undertaking. He comes into existence, this concrete, by means of an agreement or by undertaking. Certain cases of deemed pact, right? Now, there are certain cases where it has to be deemed as pact, where they come without any intention or without any agreement, right? Without any agreement, also with the intervention of court also they can come, or with the intervention of some law, where these persons who are acting as concrete, they come into a picture. Now if you see the earlier provision, up to 5% no disclosure was there, right? Up to 5% no disclosure in the substantial acquisition. If they are doing it, up to 5% no disclosure. 5 to 14.9%, even there disclosure was important. Then 15% and above, open offer for 20%, right? Open offer they have to give in the market up to 20%. Above 15% holders permitted up to 5% per annum up to 59.9%. And then to hold 55%. Open offer subject to minimum the public shareholdings, whatever you do, that is up to 55%. And above 55% holders, open offer subject to minimum public shareholding, right? This was the earlier provision, where 5% if you are having, there were no disclosures. Up to 14.9 disclosure you need to do. Then more than 15%, 20% of the public offer should be disclosed. Then 15%, above 15% holding, then permitted up to 5%, up to 54.9% of your total holding has to be disclosed. Then to hold 55%, in that case, open offer subject to minimum public shareholding. Then similarly 55% and above, subject to minimum shareholding, was the earlier provision. Now the new provision, if you see, new provision of substantial undertaking of shares, up to 5% no disclosure, as it is same that was there in the last act. Then 5 to 25% disclosure to share exchange. All right, up to 5 to 25% disclosure to the share exchange. Then to cross 25%, 25 more than 25%, open offer of minimum 26%, right? Open offer for the substantial undertaking is to minimum of 26%. About 25%, up to 5% per annum, up to 75%, right? 5% per annum you are giving, up to 75% it can be given if it is more than 25% of the new provision. Then shareholders holding in acquisition plus pack in aggregate, right? So if the shareholders in aggregate of the acquisition company plus the pack in aggregate increase the three hold and offer size, the three hold offer size, whatever is there, it will go on increasing when you combine both shareholder of acquiring company plus shareholder of the target company. Pack in aggregate in the sense the target company. When you combine both those things, there will be increase in the three hold and offer size of a particular acquisition or merger or takeover quotes. Trigger of open offer. When you see about trigger in the sense, what has led to increase in the open offer? As you see in the registration number 3 sub law 1, if holding greater than, more than or equal to 25%, right, the offer price are going to increase, because you're, as per the law, if you're holding more than or equal to 25%, then the offer price or offer is going to trigger. Then as per registration number 3 sub law 2, for a person already holding more than 25%, if acquisition is more than 5% per annum, right, then if a person, suppose if he is holding more than 25%, first case was that he was not, we thought that he was not holding for more than 25%, but second case we saw that if he is holding more than 25%, if acquisition is more than 5% per annum, right, the acquisition price will be more than 5% per annum, between 25% to 75%, right. If the offer price is between 25 to 75%, up to 5% per annum allowed. So the allowable holding is up to 5% per annum. It is allowed. Now cannot acquire more than permitted holding. The government and SEBI has put a limit. Beyond that limit, you cannot have a holding in a particular company. Only gross acquisition is considered. The net acquisition in a particular company will not be considered. What is the total amount of gross acquisition, that will be considered. Difference between post and pre-allotment will be computed. How much was the post allotment of the shares and how much is the pre-allotment of the shares, that is going to be computed. Individual plus aggregate holding considered now. Earlier days only individual consideration was given, but currently individual plus aggregate consideration will be taken into consideration. Promoter treated on bar with any other acquirer, right? Promoter will be treated on bar, right, or on particular par value with any other acquirer. Promoter will not be given any other like special kind of treatments. Promoter will be also similar treated on par as other acquirer. The all acquirers are same. Similarly, the promoter of the company will also be treated as the same at their particular par. Then acquisition of control, as the registration number 4, separate regulation for acquisition of control is there, right? There is a separate regulation for acquisition of control, applicable irrespective of whether there is an acquisition of share or not. This is applicable irrespective of shares or voting rights or control or any other things. So the substantial acquisition will be applicable. Earlier exemption of post ballot resolution is now removed. So the post ballot resolution is particularly meant for voting someone, right, where they will in earlier exemption that was allowed, but now it has been removed. For voting someone, what they were doing is they were writing either a name in a particular card, or voting was being done, then they were putting in some boxes and then counting used to be done. Majority people whoever were elected were becoming the representatives, or they were becoming the elected representatives. But right now the earlier exemption of post ballot resolution is now removed. Now the person who is holding the majority of the power, shares, substantial acquisition, that particular person will get acquisition, control, as well as the voting right. Now indirect acquisition, if you see, as registration number 5 sub rule 1 defines indirect acquisition, acquisition of shares, voting rights, and control. In indirect acquisition, what you are doing, you are acquiring shares, you are acquiring voting rights, and you are acquiring control. For these three things you are doing indirect acquisition over any company or other entity. So indirect acquisition is done by one company to the other company. Either it can be done by an Indian company to the foreign company, or foreign company to the Indian company, or any other Indian company itself. So it has to be done by one company to other company. That would enable the person plus PAC2, right, or PAC. So which means it enables a person, individual will also be holded here, plus the collective kind of the target company that is also holded here. So it exercises voting rights or control over target company. Now indirect acquisition will extend your voting rights over the target company. Suppose you have done indirect acquisition of some company, then in that case you will get not only the acquisition of the company, but also you will have a voting rights control over the target company, such that it will be attract open offer, right? Now this particular thing will be done so that it will attract a open offer in the market for acquisition. That way they are doing an indirect acquisition. Now, as per registration 5 sub rule 2, indirect is construed as a direct if proportionate value of target is 80% of acquired entity value, right? Indirect acquisition will be treated itself as direct if the proportionate value of the target is 80% of acquired entity value, right? Now the company acquired company, if they have 80%, right, of the proportionate value of the target company, the indirect is construed, or it will be treated in some situation as direct acquisition.